All right. So first and foremost, I do want to say call on Yahweh Bahashim Hamashiach Yahushai. That's all praise to the Most High in the name of His only begotten Son, who the Word ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. It's your brother Tazarot from Phoenix Sicarii, right? Coming out with the Lord willing, a very edifying video, a very beautiful breakdown. Through the spirit and power of the Most High Yahweh Bahashim Hamashiach Yahushai. So as you see by the title, well, I didn't name it yet, so but we're going over Revelation 12. Right, the dragon and the pregnant woman. It's lucky, y'all. I'm still trying to recover from hooping. You know what I mean? So I'm still trying to slow my body down, slow this heart rate, a little bit down. But you know what I'm saying? We're gonna go through the spirit, right? And I'm trying to recover from some sicknesses. So go ahead. Wait, where are you? This one. Oh, Revelation 12:1. So it says, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her crown, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Right. So the woman, right, is speaking about Israel. Now, Babylon is reckoned as a woman, and wisdom is also reckoned as a woman as well. But Israel is reckoned as a woman, right? Jeremiah 6:2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman, right? Us being the bride of the Most High, showing us that we are likened as a woman unto the Most High, right? Because we are married to the Most High. You can also go to 2nd Ezra 10:44, right? A vision that Ezra had, and the woman was Israel in that vision, right? So it just depends on the context, right? But we're going to show you how in this context it's speaking about Israel. Well, it says the woman Israel. So it says she was clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet. What is this speaking about, right? Because this can't, if it's telling you that the woman is Israel, it can't be something that's actually happening in heaven, right? It has to be a application of something that's happening on earth, right? So when it's speaking about she was clothed with the sun and the moon, speaking about that wisdom and knowledge and understanding that we have, right? Daniel 12:3. And it says, and they that be wise, right? Deuteronomy 4:5 speaks about our wisdom is the law, statutes, and commandments, right? In the sight of these other nations. That's what our wisdom is in the sight of these nations. It says, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever, right? So showing you that those who have wisdom shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, right? It's also iterated that let me see, face to shine. Is it in? Okay, yeah. It might be inside, right? No, Ecclesiastes 8:1, it says, who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine. Right. So when it's talking about shine as the firmaments of the heavens, speaking about the sun and the moon, right? You also can go to, where is that at? 13:43. Right? Matthew 13:43. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father, right? Showing us that righteousness, right, is shines forth like the firmaments or the lights in the firmaments, right? So when it's talking about being clothed with the sun and the moon, that's that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And it says, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. What are these 12 stars? The 12 tribes of the children of Israel, right? One of the powerful brothers that's over here in Arizona had brought this to my attention. What is it? Oh, Genesis 37. Yeah, I gotta stop second guessing myself. Genesis 37:9. It says, and he dreamed yet another dream and told it to his brethren, right? So this is the dream that Joseph is having, right? Before that, before his 11 brothers had sold him into slavery, right? So Joseph being one of the sons of Jacob, which is the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel. So it says, and he dreamed yet another dream and told it his brethren and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me, right? What does that word obeisance mean? Meaning bowing down. So after they had sold him into slavery and they had played like he had died, Jacob thought that Joseph was dead. Joseph then began, he got authority in Egypt, right? So he had a little bit of power in Egypt. And then when there was a great famine, the 11 brothers went to Egypt to go get corn, right? Because Egypt had corn and that's where everybody was going to go get food, right? And Joseph, you know what I'm saying, him being hid from his brothers, he told him, go bring father, you know, bring him over here, you know, things of that nature. And they bowed down to him, right? But it's showing you that the 11 stars are his 11 brothers, which are the progenitors of the children of Israel, right? So showing you that the children of Israel were reckoned as stars, right? So boom, verse 2. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered, right? What is this speaking about? Speaking about Christ. When you go to Micah 5 in the NLT, right? Micah 5:2. But you, O Bethlehem Ephrathah, are only a small village among all the people of Judah. Yet a ruler of Israel will come from you, one whose origins are from the distant past, right? Speaking about Christ. The people of Israel shall be or will be abandoned to their enemies until the woman in labor gives birth. Then at last his fellow countrymen will return from exile to their own land. So it's showing you that this woman giving birth, right, laboring in pain, is Israel, and that baby being born is Christ, right? Did I just click the NLT again? Right, Micah 5:3 in the KJV, it says, which travaileth having brought forth, right? Bringing forth that child. You also can read Micah 4:10. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail, right? Saying the same thing as Revelation 12:2, right? The red dragon, Satan, right? That's what the name it is, but that's not what the red dragon is. So verse 3. So now we have an understanding of this woman, and we have an understanding what child is being born, right? We understand that the woman is Israel and the child is Christ, because child comes from the woman, because child or Christ comes from Israel. So verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads, right? So why do we know that this is the Roman Empire? Well, when you keep reading, it'll show you. But what in the hell? This great red dragon had 7 heads and 10 horns, right? In Daniel 7, what do we see? We see so you have 4 beasts in Daniel 7, right? And those are empires. The first being the Babylonian and the Assyrian, the second being the Medo-Persians, the third being the Greeks, and the fourth being the Roman Empire, right? And I'm going to prove that in a second. But it says, and I'll be here, not that one, that's the second beast. In verse 7, it says, after this I saw in the night's vision, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. The same way this dragon has 10 horns. Now, the reason why there's 7 heads on this dragon and there's just 10 horns on this beast, because Daniel wasn't given the 7 heads, right? John the Revelator seen it more in depth than Daniel, right? But when we go to Daniel 2, right, Nebuchadnezzar has a dream and Daniel gives that interpretation of the dream, right? Both very beautiful chapters. Oh, that's Daniel 3. And Lord willing, the breakdowns are coming on those as well, right? But we see when we scroll down, the king's dream, right? Nebuchadnezzar. The interpretation, Babylon is the first kingdom, Medo-Persian is the second, and Greece is the third, and Rome is the fourth, right? And what does it say? For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdue all things, and iron breaketh all these things, shall it break in pieces and bruise. The same thing that it was saying in Daniel 7 about that fourth beast, right? So it's showing you that the fourth beast in Daniel 7 is the Roman Empire. This dragon has the same 10 horns, being that Roman Empire. Now, these horns represent the 10 common markets, right? Oh, let's see if I can get them off the top of my head. I got you guys, right? We're not going to do that. Because I know I'm going to set myself up for failure. And I don't want to say the wrong thing, right? But that's besides the point. We're not even going to focus on that. The 7 crowns, I know those. Germania Major, Germania Minor, Britannia, Spain, Greece, and Rome. I got those right? And the 10 horns stem from it, right? And then in Daniel 7, it talks about a little horn that comes from those 10 horns, which is America. But again, that's a different breakdown. So further proving that this dragon is Rome. And it says in verse 4, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Right? So boom, here's what's important. His tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. Right? What are those what is the third part of the stars? Well, it's talking about the 12 stars. This would be talking about the Roman Empire dealing with the southern kingdom and the remnant of the northern kingdom, right? So you have Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right, which make up the southern kingdom. But then you also have a remnant of the northern kingdom that was dwelling among the southern kingdom, right? The reason why it's not, or the majority of the northern kingdom weren't dwelling there, because after the Assyrian captivity, they gathered themselves together and went over to the Americas, right? So that's why the majority of northern kingdom would not be dwelling in Israel, and it's just the remnant, right? But what does it mean when it talks about it cast them from heaven and threw them down to the earth, right? The most common precept, okay, is Lamentations 2:1, right? Lamentations 2:1, right? This is Jeremiah writing Lamentations after Israel was taken into captivity of Babylon, right? And in Baruch 4, it speaks about the same thing. Baruch puts it in perspective as the land, right? And it's reckoning the land as a woman as well. And it speaks about how she lost her children and she's now lonely and desolate, and she's now inhabited by people who are not supposed to be there, right? So she went from a beautiful estate to a low estate, being inhabited by devils rather than be inhabited by her children who are supposed to be ruling there, right? So Lamentation 2:1, it says, how hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with the cloud in his anger, right? Furious because of our sins. It says, and cast down from heaven unto earth the beauty of Israel, right? So the beauty of Israel was cast down from heaven to earth, the same way the dragon threw the third part of the stars and cast them from heaven to earth, meaning what? They came out of power. They came out of rulership, and Rome took over, right? But watch this. When you go into that word, because again, it says his tail drew. What does that word drew mean? Check it out. To drag, of one before to the judgment, to prison, to punishment, right? So that dragon took the southern kingdom to prison as prisoners and as punishment, right? Under subjugation, right? Threw them out of authority. So we're going to keep going in this verse. And it says, and the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. What is that speaking about? Right? Well, we understand who the child is. We understand who the woman is, which is Israel. And we understand who the child is, which is Christ. Right? So, and now we have an understanding that the dragon is the Roman Empire. Right? So what is it talking about? It's what's going on? Thank you. It's speaking about Matthew. Oh, Matthew 2, starting at 14. Nope. Just kidding. Scratch that. Hope you didn't write that down. We can start at 7. Maybe. Just kidding. Don't listen to me. We can start at 4. It says, and when he had gathered all the chief priests, he being Herod, and scribes of the people together, he demanded them where Christ should be born, right? So Herod's trying to figure out, where is it that Christ is going to be born? Jumping down to verse 7, then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared, right? So because that was the sign, the star would appear where Christ was being born. And so he's trying to figure out where this man is born, right? It says, and he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child, for when ye have found him, bring me word again that I may come and worship him also. So he's searching for this child before the child was born, right? Verse 11. No. Verse 16. It says, then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceedingly wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Right? Matter of fact, I'm sorry, y'all. We should have started up, right? But you get the point. We see that Herod was looking for this child before the child was born, and then he set out a decree that everybody who's 2 years old and under needs to be killed in order to kill Christ, right? That was his agenda, and that was his target, was to kill Christ, right? So we see Herod being the king in Rome. Salaki, y'all. Again, I'm still getting over the sickness, right? And it's messing me up. We see that we see that Herod is looking for Christ before he was born, and then he sets out a decree to kill him. But we also see that the dragon stood before the women, before Israel, which was ready to be delivered, which means Christ was going to be born, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Rome was looking for Christ before he was born to kill him, right? Verse 5. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, right? We can go quickly. Stop. Is my greasy old fingers. Revelation 19, right? Starting at 15. And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, speaking about Christ, that he should smite the nations, that with he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, meaning ruling the nations with a rod of iron, right? And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne, right? We can go to Acts 1:9, right? And when he had spoken these things while he was beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight, right? So again, Christ going into heaven, right? You can also read verse 11 as well. And go to Acts 7, where Stephen sees him sitting on the right hand of the Father, right? Acts 7 and was it 43? No, 40. Okay, 55. It says, but he, being full of the Holy Ghost, looked up steadfastly into heaven and saw the glory of God and Yahushua standing on the right hand of God, right? So Yahushua sitting on the throne. You can also go to Hebrews 1, where God, the Most High God, Yahweh, gave Christ the throne, right? So he was caught up unto his throne, and the woman fled into the wilderness, right? So now we're getting into the women fleeing into the wilderness. What is this speaking about, right? The woman still being Israel, fleeing into the wilderness. What is this wilderness? Let's check it out. That word wilderness, speaking about what? Solitary, lonely, desolate, uninhabited, used of places, deserted places, lonely regions, an uncultivated region fit for pasturage, right? Of a flock deserted by the shepherd, a woman neglected by her husband. That's not the context, right? So it's talking about an uncultivated place where nobody is inhabiting it. So this woman is fleeing to this place. Where is this place? West Africa. There was no large empire in West Africa. There was nobody dwelling in West Africa. In Egypt and things of that nature, you have the Ptolemy. He was ruling over there, right? But there was nobody dwelling and ruling in West Africa until we fled over there. A place, watch this, when we'll keep reading, where she hath a place prepared of God, right? The place was prepared for us because nobody was living there, right? So this wilderness, and even when we go back to Micah 4, this wilderness is speaking about West Africa, right? Where then we started making the Ghanaian Empire, the Mali Empire, the Dahomey, what is it called again? I had to write it down. Dahomey Kingdom, right? We began to make these strong kingdoms, right? Massa Musa, powerful brother, you know, things of that nature. We began to make these kingdoms, right? And we began to rule, right? Which led to the Dark Ages, which we were ruling, but we were ruling in wickedness. We weren't ruling in righteousness. And then after that, the Renaissance, right? So that's going to get brought up in a second too. But Micah 4:10, it says, be in pain, labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, Christ being born, like a woman in travail. For now thou shalt go forth out of the city. What is the city? Jerusalem, right? Because we were all forced down to Jerusalem, that single city, before we were completely exiled out of the land, right? So now we're going to go forth out of the city, being exiled out of Jerusalem, and thou shalt dwell in the field. Where's that field? Speaking about West Africa, right? Even the Hamites were pushed to West Africa as well, and they began to, you know, live among us. And that's when we get to, you know, them selling us into slavery. So I'm gonna need you to work a little bit faster, right? You move too slow for me. Start. Who is the kingdom of West Africa? Mali Empire, Caesar Borgia. Yeah, stop playing me, bro. You need to hurry up. I'm over here talking like he a nigga. Amos 1:9. 8. Yeah, 9. It says, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they delivered up the whole captivity to Edom, and remember not the brotherly covenant, right? So in West Africa, these Hamites started rounding us up and delivering us and selling us to the Edomites, right? So that's when it talks about thou shalt dwell in the field. That's when we started ruling in West Africa, right? And it says, and thou shalt even go to Babylon, right? Speaking about Mystery Babylon, which is here in the Americas. It says, well, here in America, I should say. It says, there shalt thou be delivered, right? We're going to be delivered out of America. There the Lord shall redeem thee from the hand of thine enemies, right? So, you know what I'm saying? It's giving you from the time of Christ to the time, well, to future prophecy in one verse. Lord in Christ. If you're watching the video and you like the video, there's no reason why you shouldn't like the video. Hit the thumbs up and share the video, right? Don't be stingy with this knowledge. Yeah, you. So, right, and it says that they should feed her there 1,203 score years, right? Talking about some 1,200, around 1,260 years, right? So, boom. Now we see this little breaker, right? Now, mind you, even when you go into the Strongs, be careful, because again, the breaker doesn't always signify that the context changes, right? So you have to understand the context and what's going on. But here the context is actually changing. Even when you read the Strongs, you have to be careful, because the Strongs is not always 100%. Same reason why some translations were good to use, but in some verses they add too much or they twist it, you know, things of that nature. So be very careful in what you're using, and don't say that it's 100% true all the time, right? So, but this breaker is showing you that it is a context change, right? This is speaking about the battle of Jehoshaphat. How do we know? Because here it's talking about us fleeing to West Africa, but here it's speaking about salvation, right? Us fleeing to Africa, we still had many centuries to go before we can even get salvation, right? So I just want to make that very clear. So verse 7, it says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, right? So what is it speaking about? Is it speaking about like a legit war in heaven? No. You have something called the Space Force, Star Wars by Ronald Reagan, right? Things of that nature. And they're fighting against the chariots of the Most High, which are labeled as UFOs, right? Because again, when you think about it in common sense, when you believe in the Bible, there is no such thing as aliens out there, right? There is no such things as you know, big-headed green or gray, you know, big eye. There's no such thing as those things, right? outside of earth, there's heaven, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So they're gearing up to fight against that. Speaking about what that battle of Jehoshaphat, Christ's return, right? When you read Second Esdras, it talks about they were scared, but they still were forced to fight, right? So now Michael was a lot of the times the angel that helped us in times of, you know, battle and things of that nature. Right, because different angels have different, you know, courses and things like that. Just like when you see today, a brother might be fit, you know, to go to battle, but then a brother might, you know, this brother not really fit to go to battle, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? He could stay back and he has other duties that he could do that, you know, that helps us. It's the same thing with the angels, right? You have angels that go to war for us, and you have other angels that just relaying messages from, you know, the people of the Most High, right? So in Daniel 10, fuck yeah, y'all. Daniel 10, starting at 11, and it says, and he said unto me, 12. It says, then said he unto me, right, the angel, fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand, and did chasten thyself before thy God, thy words were heard, and I am come for thy words, right? I'm trying to get it out of my throat, so you know what I'm saying? So the angel heard his prayer, right? So he came to receive the words in which Daniel was praying for. In verse 13, it says, but the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days, right? Let's read this in the NLT. Right, in the NLT, it says, but for 21 days, the spirit prince of the kingdom of Persia blocked my way. Then Michael, one of the archangels, came to help me, and I left him there with the spirit prince of the kingdom of Persia, right? So we understand that this angel was just relaying messages, right? So that spirit of the kingdom of Persia has stopped him in his tracks. And who came to help him? Big brother Michael. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you go to you go to chapter 12. I'm going fast, but it's a video, so y'all can pause it and replay it. Verse 12. Chapter 12. In verse 1, it says, and at that time Michael shall stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. Meaning what? He's coming to help us in battle, right? We even see this in 2 Kings 6 and 17, right? Which is powerful, right? I know I say I got a lot of powerful, or this is my favorite verse and things like that, but this is one of my favorites, right? But I got a problem because I'll be forgetting where it's at. But 2 Kings 6 and I'm gonna start at 16, right? But understand that at night, right, when they was all sleeping, the children of Israel, they were compassed about with, as you see, both with horses and chariots and servants, you know, said unto him, alas, my master, how should we do? Right. So the young man is kind of, you know, like, whoa, what's going on? Because we woke up and there's large armies surrounding us. In verse 16, and he said, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with him. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the young man was full of horse. The mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. So what's going on? There were angels, an army of angels surrounding this army that was surrounding us, right? So we have these angels that are protecting us the same way, you know, we don't even have to read the Bible to understand that you have angels protecting you, right? So just understand that when it's speaking about this war in heaven, it's not talking about you got Satan over there fighting God, right? Because then we have a conflict when we, you know, read Job 1, right? When we see Satan allowed to test Job, why is he's allowed to? What you mean? I thought he does what he wants, right? So again, let me see. Oh, okay. We got to come up. Boom. Job 1 and 8. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. Then Satan answered the Lord. I thought he don't answer to the Lord, and said, doth Job fear God for naught? Has not thou made a hedge about him? Right. So they're having a conversation, right? They're not fighting, right? It should have been on site. right? They're just having a conversation, and the Most High is telling him, and he watch this. I believe. But boom, right? So this is Satan speaking in verse 11. But put forth thine hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. So Satan is telling him, like, look, take everything that he has, and I promise you, he's going to curse you in your face. Right? And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he hath is in thy power. He's giving Satan power. All that Job has, you can do whatever you want with it. It says, only upon himself put forth not thine hand, or put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth for the presence of the Lord. He's given authority to test Job, right? There's no war going on, right? So that completely debunks this, right? It's speaking about the battle of Jehoshaphat. And prevailed not, right? So the dragon fought with his angels, right? The dragon meaning who? The Edomites, right? They're going to be fighting, not all. Lord in Christ. What was I talking about? Yeah, the dragon's gonna be fighting, right, with Michael and his angels. Verse 8. I just lost my train of thought. And prevailed not, neither was there a place found any more in heaven. Neither was there a place found any more in heaven. What is that speaking about? Oh, he doesn't have a spot in heaven. Meaning that now there's no war in heaven. First of all, I remember when I was a kid and I imagined this, and I looked up in the sky like, there's really a war going on up there. And I immediately just started playing with my toys again because I was a child. And I was just like, what the hell? Why is there a war? Why is there a war going on up in heaven and we don't hear not a goddamn thing? First of all, how did the war start? Right? So it's just a lot of unanswered questions, and it's just stupidity. But when it's speaking about neither was there a place found any more in heaven, they were not in authority. The same way the dragon took the 3 stars, or took the third part of the stars, and cast it from heaven to earth. What is it speaking about? Them losing, the southern kingdom losing their authority and their kingdom and their rulership. What is this speaking about? Edom losing their kingdom and rulership. Right? Verse 9. And the dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, and he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Hold on. If there is a war in heaven, why is he cast out on earth and not into hell? You would have to say that earth is going to be hell. But the problem with that is one, they say that there's already people in hell right now. So hell's going to expand. 2, in the Lord's Prayer, what do we see Christ say? He says, but when thou prayest, use this prayer. After this manner, therefore, pray ye. It says, verse 10, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Do your will in earth as it is in heaven. Right? Because the kingdom of God will be on earth. Another breakdown, Lord willing. Let me write that down before I forget. I'll be doing y'all like that. I'm sorry. Kingdom of God on earth. Even then, he said the kingdom of heaven is within us, right? So, where am I? Boom, right? So Satan was cast out with his angels. There's something that I found out. Yeah. Hold on. Oh. Okay. See, that's why I got to be checking on my notes, right? So let's backtrack just a little bit. My bad, y'all. So it says, and the woman fled into the wilderness, verse 6, where she had a place prepared of God no, I'm tripping. You're not backtracking nothing. Right, let's go here. It is in verse 9. I thought it was in verse 6. Right? Which deceiveth the whole world cast out, and his angels was cast out. Where are you at? Is it in the next one? I should have just been patient. It's the next one, right? So, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, right? So, forgive me, y'all. I'm trying. It says that old serpent called the devil, right? In context, that old serpent would be the dragon, right? That's called the devil. Why? Because he is a deceiver. How has he Ooh, look at me go. How has he deceived us? Watch this. Job 9:24, right? It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? The Most High ordained them to rule over this. Not there's a war in heaven. It says he covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he, right? Who's covering the faces of the judge? Like Christ, the white man. We know that Christ is a dark-skinned brother, and they turn him to a white hair, stringy blonde hair man, right? So I don't need you, bro. You can go. Oh, I wanted to show y'all that actually. Look at the grapes. Did y'all see the grapes in the background? We giving out this doctrine. Who know that? Wine is referenced as doctrine in the Bible for y'all who don't know, right? Rodrigo, Borgia, this nasty motherfucker, right? So this dude, right? Rodrigo Borgia, right? He had a son, right? I had a pappy. He had a son called Sibo, right? Sibo, right? Caesar Borgia. This man is whom Alexander, I'm not good at Roman numerals, right? But Rodrigo, this is who he painted the image of Jesus Christ after, right? Watch this, because Solomon, right? Look at you. See the grapes? See the grapes? Pay attention. You're not paying attention, right? Solomon talked about this, right? In Wisdom of Solomon 14 and starting at 15. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he hath made an image of his child soon taken away. Now honored him as a god, honored him as a god, which they do Jesus Christ, which was then a dead man, he's dead, Sibo dead, and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices. You have to sacrifice and do ceremonies and have feasts to my son, right? Which all praise to how that man died, right? But let's see. We're not going to look up his cause of death. Jesus, right? It does the side by side. But who the hell is this nigga? Boom. Y'all see the resemblance, right? It painted them after. Now, y'all got to understand. They do alter things, and they're not going to make it too easy. They're not going to make it too easy, right? But they're painting it as the likeness of his son, right? So, boom. Who that look like? That look like what they'll say Christ. But that look like exactly like them man, right? Not exactly, but y'all get the point, right? In the time of the what? The Renaissance. That's why I said we're going to revisit it, right? All praise to the Most High. They put the thought back in my head, right? So in West Africa, where we fled, we started to build empires, things of that nature. And then we started the Dark Ages, right? So after the Dark Ages, what then occurs, right? When you read Genesis 27 and hold on, don't quote me, don't write it down yet. Yeah, 27 and 40. I didn't know if it was 40 and 27, but I got y'all, right? Genesis 27 and 40, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, when Esau will have dominion, thou shalt break his yoke off from off thy neck, right? Because in the Dark Ages, they were under subjection either within our communities or they were dwelling in caves, right? They were not in rulership. But in the time of the Renaissance, which means rebirth, they came back into power. And that's when Rodrigo Borgia began to paint the likeness of Christ and whitewashed all the rulerships in which we had, and repainted the Catholic walls and things of that nature. Because we were the ones who were Catholics, right? The original Catholics were dark skinned, off as hell, right? We were deceiving the earth. So, damn, I didn't mean to use this one. So, so in the time of the Renaissance, that's when, Sibo got painted as Christ, things of that nature. Lost my train of thought. So back to Wisdom of Solomon, right? Verse 16. It says, thus in process of time and ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law, right? It was commanded that you need to do this or die, right? And graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings, right? You had to serve this image or you will die, right? At the same time in the Greek, in the time of the Maccabees, they had to keep Greek customs and they had to stop circumcising their children or they would die, right? And they did, monthly roundups of who had the book of the law or who was keeping the commandments. And it was not, you were not allowed by law of the king's commandment, of the king's ordinance, to call yourself a Jew, right? So same thing happens in the time of the Renaissance. So boom, verse 10, and I heard a loud voice in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and power of his Christ, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before God day and night. So now, right, it's speaking about salvation is coming, right? Christ is returning and the accuser of our brethren is cast down, right? What is that? GNT. I need it in GNT, right? Bible. You know what would make me mad? All praise to the Most High, because I definitely thought I wasn't sharing my screen. Woof. 60. See, I'll be second guessing myself. No, I don't need no web. I need you in a GNT. I'm playing them games. I'll be second guessing if my mic on too. I ain't gonna hold y'all. You know what I'm saying? Always got to make sure you good, right? Psalm 69:4. Those who hate me for no reason are more numerous than the hairs of my head. My enemies tell lies against me. They are strong and want to kill me, right? They made me give back things I did not steal. That unjust judgment, right? Now, there's other verses where it speaks about that they lay up laws and they take me to court and things of that nature and falsely accuse me of things, right? We see this all the time, right? Our beautiful young brothers and sisters who are put to trial and beat to death unjustly, right? Was it the Green Mile or something like that? That big dude, right? Put to trial and killed unjustly. You know what I'm saying? So something that's been happening, right? So the accuser of our brethren is now cast down. Watch this though. What does the cast down mean? Because again, if it's a war in heaven, why? Who's the accuser of our brethren? It's Satan. Okay, cool. So watch this, right? When it talks about the accuser of our brethren is cast down. What is that speaking about? To cast down, to throw to the ground, prostrate, to put in a lower place, taking from rulership, casting down to no authority, right? Under subjection in the kingdom of God as slaves, right? But it says, which accuse them before our God day and night. What is the day and night speaking about? You go into the day, look what it says, right? It does say daytime again. It just depends on context, but watch this. Of the last day of this present age. So it's talking about today, right? The accuser of our brethren today. Why? Because it's speaking about the white man in America. He's cast down from the power in which he had, right? And we are being delivered. You know, not just the white man in America, but it says the day of Christ, the day Christ will return from heaven, raised from the dead, hold the final judgment, and perfect his kingdom. And perfect his kingdom. Yeah. Right. So speaking about the last days, our brothers being accused today, right? And then it talks about night, day and night. What the hell just happened? Oh, I clicked the word. So what does it mean night? Night, the time when work ceases, right? You know what I'm saying? Time of death, things of that nature. But watch this. The time of moral stupidity and darkness, right? People are morally stupid today, first and foremost. But what does Job say? A land of darkness as darkness itself, right? And what is this world with no order? America's what? With no order today. This world today is filled with darkness, right? With Pride Month, you know what I'm saying, just raining around, pushing the agenda in front of our kids. A land of darkness is darkness itself, right? So again, it's speaking about us being delivered from this captivity right here, right? If you're in America, I don't know who watching this. Verse 11, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, by having that faith in Hamashiach Yahushua, right? That's how we overcame, by having that faith that Yahushua, through the spirit and power of his Father, would come back and redeem us from this captivity, right? And by the word of their testimony. By the word of what? By us teaching, us putting in that work, us waking up our people. You know what I'm saying? What I'm doing right now, though I got work in like a couple hours, but who cares? I'm trying to get the hell up out of here so we don't have to work no more, right? So we got to do this by the word of our testimony as well. It says, and they love not their lives unto death. Kill me, right? I just did a live video today at on Facebook, right? Go check out that SICARRI Phoenix Facebook study group, right? Go live Wednesdays and Sundays, but that may change because I'm doing it when people are at work, and I'm wondering why people are not showing up on the live, because people are at work. You know what I'm saying? So that might change, but there's still videos up there, right? Speaking about the law right now, and then keeping this law unto death, things of that nature. But it says, and they love not their lives unto death. I was going into 2 Maccabees 7, right? Reading it in the GNT, where 7 brothers and a mom of those 7 brothers were tortured and beat, but they gave the most powerful testimony in the time of their death, right? Just because they wouldn't eat pork, right? Not loving our lives unto death, right? It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. This is why things are starting to happen, quickly. You understand? Because the devil, the white man, he knows, right? Not the average white man. I'm not talking about him, right? Because we ran into a dude named Clobbert. He don't know what the hell going on. So we're not talking about Clobbert. Shout out to Clobbert for not turning the other cheek. But the man in authority, right? The white man in authority, he knows that he has a short time, right? We are starting to wake up, and this is why we understand that we are labeled as terrorists, even though we didn't take arms and go attack the Capitol. We ain't do that. We just out here with the Bible and teaching with our words, right? We're not spreading this truth through violence. We spreading the truth through the truth. Do you understand what I'm saying? So he knows he has a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child, right? So when he was taken out of authority, he started persecuting the children which brought forth the man-child. Again, it's not talking about spiritually. It's talking about something that's happening in the flesh. Verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent, right? So boom, up here, we seeing that it's talking about salvation, us entering into the kingdom, right? The heavens are rejoicing, right? The devil is being cast down, things of that nature. But right here is talking about the dragon chasing the woman, because the context changed again, right? So you have to pay attention to what's going on. The context is changing. This is why Isaiah said the book is sealed, right? Nobody can pick up this book and read it. Everybody gonna be confused, thinking that there's a legit pregnant woman flying around with wings and a dragon chasing her ass. Why God over there duking it out with Satan? Oh, it's too late for this, man. You gotta be a marshmallow head licking walls all day to believe that this is talking about war in heaven. So we see that the context is changing to now that the dragon is persecuting the woman which brought forth the man-child. What is this speaking about? This is speaking about us being exiled into West Africa again. It says, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, right? into her place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out his mouth, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, right? What is this water of the flood? Watch this, y'all. Y'all got a lot of questions to be asking somebody who says that this is speaking about war in heaven, right? It could be used as water, but watch this, used of many peoples, right? So as this dragon is casting out a water like a great flood after the woman, what is it speaking about? Rome was on our tail, right? What did that Marlon brother say? He said, run! They was after us. You know what I'm saying? So that's that flood that was going after the woman, is because that they was on our tail. They was pushing us and exiling us out of Jerusalem and even out of Egypt, you know, things of that nature. And we had to keep running until we got to West Africa, which is, it's a long distance. Do you understand what I'm saying? And even then, they were still persecuting us until we began too powerful, or got too powerful. And it says that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood, right? Still trying to kill us all. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth. What is this speaking about? This is speaking about how the Most High uses not only just insects, but animals and the earth itself to help in a time of our need, right? The same way in Egypt, what did he use? He used plagues. He used not hornets. He uses the locusts, things of that nature. He uses these things to help us out, right? Because he's shown his wonderful works in which he is able to do at any time, to show that we are the children of Israel. And if you mess with us, even the earth itself will go against you, right? Splitting that sea for the children of Israel to pass through, right? Killing off the firstborn of everything in Egypt for the children of Israel, right? Even the Canaanites, right? Sending that hornet to the Canaanites, right? While we are going into the land, he used the hornets to drive them out, you know, giving disease, things of that nature. So he's using the earth to help us get to where we're going. Right, verse 17. All praise we at the last, because I am. Matter of fact, nah, we in the spirit. Nah, the hell with what I was just about to say. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to wage war. Went to make war with the remnant of her seed. Right, so the dragon got pissed off and wants to make war with the remnant of her seed. Now, what is this speaking about? Is this speaking about in the time of us being exiled to West Africa, or is it speaking about today? Well, keep reading. Which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. Right, so this is speaking about today, right? They're making war with the remnant of her seed, right? Us, right? This actually, the last verse, I mean, if you want to quickly cut somebody talking about it, it's not speaking about, it's not speaking about war in heaven. You just got to go to verse 17. Right, in verse 17, it'll tell you the dragon's wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. Who is this woman? Right. Well, the woman is you know what I'm saying? So we understand that the woman is Israel, right? Right, and her seed is us, and the dragon is the so-called white man, right? So you have to be very careful, because the dragon could legit mean the Roman Empire in the time of Herod, but the dragon can also mean, you know, the white man in the time of today, right? Because we understand America is the revised Roman Empire. So I'm proud. I thought it was a great breakdown. If you thought it was a great breakdown, yeah, that's how you know I'm tired. I was tired, boss. When I begin to fumble my words. But if you thought it was a breakdown and you love it and you got some precepts and now you understand what's going on in Revelation 12, there is no excuse why you should share this video on your Instagram or your Facebook or whatever have you. You know what I'm saying? MySpace. I don't care. Or why you shouldn't like the video. I shouldn't have more. Well, I couldn't say that, because we might have some Christians that are just hating. Right? So I want to show y'all something. We Phoenix SICARRI, right? To hell with what I got. We got some new videos up, right? Juno Greek part 1 and 2. right? Confounding Christianity, all three of these, right? Ephesians 2 breakdown. Yeah, it's breakdown downtown. Lord in Christ, I gotta stop. How to properly confound false doctrines, right? I go over Romans 2 and 29, right? Spiritual Israel. This is where they kind of get the idea of spiritual Israel. We are in fact not in the new covenant, and we also have videos up here, right, that you can go watch, right? So go check those out. Subscribe to the channel so that you can get these more. Hit that little ring-a-ding bell thing. Where the hell is that? Oh, well, I can't do it because this is the channel. So I hope and I pray that this damn thing goes to full screen. I hope and I pray that it was a beautiful video. Y'all not gonna tell me that my hair coming up? It's all good in the neighborhood. I knew y'all wasn't gonna look out for me. No, I'm playing with y'all. But I hope this video was edifying, right? And I hope that y'all got a lot of information on this, and I hope that it really touched your heart, brother. But with that, I do want to say, call Allah Yahweh Bahashima Mashiach Yahweh Shai, us all praise to the Most High in the name of His own begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. If you have a breakdown that you want, right? Because this was requested by somebody, not in the comments, but if you have a breakdown that you want, go ahead and put it in the comment section, and Lord willing, we could get to it. If you have precepts that will help give proper or more understanding on this, go ahead and drop them in the comment section. If you want to talk your stuff, right? Because you don't like us, go live when they go live, right? Hassad, Alazar, and Deacon, right? Or you could set it up with us, no problem, right? But they go live all the time, and they always want to smoke, right? So I loves y'all. If you're an Israelite watching, and y'all be safe out here, man. So, you know what I'm saying? We just went over how the devil coming after us. You got to be careful, man. If you see a flying dragon, watch it. Oh, Shalom, y'all. Shalom. I'm tired as can be.